Hello, and welcome to another gloomy day. I, again, am very, very happy. It is raining. It has been raining nonstop all day. We were under a flash flood warning. and, I had to go do laundry, which was alright. And didn't really see anything crazy out there. Just a lot of high water, which is obviously to be expected. I hope you've been having some good days, have been enjoying the weather. Seems like we are getting closer to fall. I guess it is past the end, or no, past the middle of August. Back to school, people are gonna come to town. It's gonna be crazy. That's not what I wanted to talk to you about today, though. The last 3 weeks, especially in the last week, I have had a lot of realizations and just a lot of reoccurring thoughts up here. I've always said that I'm excited for my 30s, that I'm going to have a lot of fun, because I feel like once you hit a certain age, like you just don't care. Like some things really just don't matter anymore. And truthfully, there's already a lot of things that don't really matter to me. Not saying that I don't care about stuff, because I do. But things that maybe I felt needed to be done before, I realize now that that's not necessarily the case, and I actually feel kind of better for it. I don't know if I'm really going to go into much detail there, but yeah, sometimes there are things in this life that feel like they're constant, and they feel like there's a lot of pressure around it. Like you feel pressured to have thoughts, opinions, words on whatever it may be. And it doesn't necessarily matter like what you think. Someone's always going to have something to say about it. Like, I could say that I want to cut my hair, and someone's going to say, don't do that. You don't want to do that. Okay, I didn't really realize it was up for debate. But, really just trying to stay true to myself right now, and just not necessarily keep my energy to myself, but I'm definitely being very safe with it. And I'm not trying to go out of my way to be somebody that I'm not, because I really just don't care to. I don't have the energy to. There's really nothing in this world right now that I want to give a lot of energy to that isn't within my home, to be honest with you. I love my friends. I am very, very appreciative of them. I definitely don't reach out enough. I've been trying to work on that. I've been trying to be just a little bit more communicative, and that's just some goals that I have for myself. I do wish to become a little bit more personable, but that really the other thing that's been going on in my brain is I now realize where my personality lines up with my family, because for a long time I've realized that I'm not necessarily operating on the same wavelength that most of them are. Which, just to give you like a little backstory, my family is very unique. I don't have parents. I don't have siblings. I'm me. My bloodline ends with me. Raised by my grandparents. I have uncles, aunts. I have cousins. Nobody that I really like interact with a whole lot though. Excuse me. Where was I going with this? Personality. My mom was a very light person. Always looked on the bright side of things. Never really got, I mean, she got frustrated, but she never really let that get her down. I felt like as long as she was physically able to, she was moving, she was writing, she was doing something. She spent most of her days writing in a journal, smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee, petting cats, taking dogs out, just being a woman, living in the middle of nowhere, enjoying her life. And she was also very outspoken. Like, she definitely had a backbone and would pretty much just tell you how it is. She was kind, but she didn't take shit. And man, every single day I think about her and just wonder like what we would be talking about. It's been 20 years since she's passed. To put that into any sort of perspective for you. So like, I've had quite the different outlook on life for a very, very long time. My uncles, who I would probably consider more or less like siblings at this point, especially because me and my uncle, he's the youngest one of all of them. We're only 13 years apart and we lived in the same house for a little bit. He has a slew of health issues, like open heart surgeries days after being born. Some of the crazier things, cirrhosis, veins popping, things that are like, oh man, okay, are you okay? He says it's just one thing. What's one more thing at this point? Okay, sir. My aunt's got lung issues, collapsed lungs, needs kidneys, she's had back surgeries, vitiligo. My oldest uncle, vitiligo, has type 2 diabetes that he just doesn't take care of. Just, he's more or less unfiltered, which they're all sort of unfiltered in a way. They don't really care what comes out of their mouth. They're just going to say whatever they're going to say. Something that I didn't necessarily get, which I wish I could have. My other uncle, he's more or less on the quiet side, kind of keeps to himself. I think Lyme's disease, was a Marine. I don't know. They moved around a lot. They never really stayed in one spot. And this is probably the most permanent time of their lives. All of them have dealt with loss, heartache, health issues, one thing after another. And the one thing that at least two of them have is like severe anxiety and depression. And I've always known, obviously, my grandmother has struggled with that throughout her lives. With addiction issues definitely run in the family. Heart issues, just a lot of things that I'm grateful to know about, because I know what to possibly look out for or to expect in the coming years. But then I also have a whole side of my family that I don't know about. I don't know who my father is. I've never known. I get bits and pieces, but the one person who could tell me the absolute truth, I mean, that was never something that I ever thought about at that point in time, because why would I? Only being like my age right now, that didn't make sense. Only when I had become aware of other things in life is when I started to question, excuse me, what's the other side like? Not death, but what's the other side of me like? Always been curious. Probably want to try 23andMe or something, whatever, because, at this point, who's not tracking you? Whatevs. But the one thing, to circle back to my original point, the one thing that my family all have in common is they would really rather live their life by their terms. They're not people, you know? They're all just to themselves. And they all have these deeper, darker thoughts going on a lot of the times that I don't think they really talk about too often. But this past year, they've actually said things to me that has clued me in on how they're doing mentally. And it's crazy. If you heard that, that was boo-boo. Sometimes it sounds like we have ghosts in here because there's noises, and I'm like, how does that come out of a cat? Don't know. Anyways. Sorry. I'm just looking at my ring here, and I thought with this new job that it's a little scary to wear my rings. I might take them off, but it's not like I can wear them as a necklace right now because they'd easily just like get caught or whatever. And my body's changing a lot, so I don't really know. They come off really easily, and all I need is something to get caught and something gets yanked, and but I don't want to not wear it, Not important. Important, not important. I don't necessarily know where I left off, but members of my family, my aunt, my uncles especially, they want to talk to me. And I think I need that. But also, it's weird because I'm not good with like one-on-one conversations, no matter who it is, except for my fiance. I don't know why or where the conversations will go, but to put it this way, there's a lot of things that happened in my childhood that probably shouldn't have happened, and I've had many conversations with them as a child about how things shouldn't be the way that they were, and everyone was very aware of it. but nobody could really do anything about it because there was like, I don't know, like a power thing, like a control thing. And I just happened to be the root of it. And I definitely did a lot of like cringy things as a child, like texting people, like, help me, like, this is hell. I wasn't wrong, but I didn't have to be dramatic about it. I really feel for the kids who have to deal with a parental figure, guardian, caregiver, if that caregiver is dealing with addiction. It is hard to watch someone go through something that you're not quite sure what is going on. And then as you get older, you realize what is going on and you're angry about it and you're frustrated and you're wondering, why is this happening? Why is nobody doing anything? No, why is nobody helping me? How did I get into this situation? And only very recently have I been thinking about things a little bit differently. Not in the fact of why wasn't anybody helping me, which, is very valid in a way, because yes, I am a child. I should not have had to deal with a lot of the things that I had to deal with and realize. But whenever it got bad enough, I did get to a point of like confronting adults and being like, hey, this needs to not happen again because I felt unsafe, or, this is what's happening. I don't really understand what can even be done. And like only once have me and someone else like done something, but it obviously didn't really do too much. But no, my thing now is, why didn't anybody get her help? Why didn't anybody look in on the situation and go, this person is clearly not mentally healthy right now and is not dealing with mental health issues in a very healthy way, also going through health issues in general, not necessarily knowing it, but talking with these members of my family and seeing like my grandmother go through dementia, but also that other type of dementia that's not just caused by genetics or old age. It's from the alcohol. So there's always been this part of me that's felt like maybe I should just go into some sort of health counseling, whether it be addiction or mental health of some sort, I don't know. But what I have been learning and thinking about consistently, constantly, is nobody has really found a healthy way to cope with these feelings and what everything just kind of does to the body. And I don't know, I look at how I'm living my life, and not to compare to other people because that's not fair. That's never fair. But why do I feel like I was aware enough to find myself in these really bad mental spots or whatever, and realize pretty quickly in that I need help and that I need to do something. Otherwise, I'm probably gonna myself. And still, like, the unhealthy coping. They have a really good example of how not to deal with your problems, and this is how you'll end up. And mind you, I took the classes. I wrote notes. I definitely took notes and filed them away in my brain bank, because there are I have had plenty of good examples of who I do not want to be and what I don't want to be in this life. I know what my goals are and what they are not. Maybe a purpose of mine is to help my family realize the errors in some other ways. I can only hope, but I'm not perfect. I struggle a lot. I am very silent as a person in general, but I'm just very silent about my mental health issues. I don't really talk to my friends, or I mean, I mainly talk to my friends about it, but I don't really share anything with my family, because it took one time for me to tell someone that I went to the doctor and I started anti-anxiety meds because I felt depressed, but they were also like, "Oh, it's probably anxiety too." And I got the question, "Are you feeling anxious and depressed?" Why, yes. Yes, I am. Is that really so hard to believe from somebody who was only 18 years old at that time? It was also whenever I advocated for myself for birth control. Never told my my grandparents, because it wasn't really their business, but that made me crazy too. So, I don't know. I think a lot of it has to deal with I had to be aware of a lot of things, and I didn't necessarily have that carefree portion of my childhood that they did. It might be the emotional intelligence part of it. Some things they just haven't dealt with yet. Other things they have dealt with, I have not. We've all lived our different lives, and it's kind of crazy that we're all kind of the same, but also different. I don't know. I can only hope to learn more about my mother and maybe more of what I should be expecting in this life. Or, I don't know. August is always weird. July is always weird. It's like two powerful months. And I learned that August is Grief Awareness Month, which is ironically fitting. I also have had the thought of possibly writing a book, because I feel like writing about my experiences in this life could maybe help one less person feel like, wow, what is going on? What am I supposed to do with these feelings? What am I supposed to be doing right now? How can I help myself? I could probably talk on and on and on, but I'm almost at 25 minutes, and I don't really know. I'll probably make another video, maybe touch on some other things, if that sounds interesting enough. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to talk about it anyway. Sorry this kind of got serious and a little gloomy, but these are all things that I would talk to a therapist about, And I currently don't have health insurance, so I also don't necessarily have. Did you see that? Or am I crazy? Anyway, yeah, don't really have the extra funds to do too much with that. That's okay. Things to work towards. I hope you have a great week. And I guess it's Thursday, huh? Yeah, it's Thursday. We didn't take a trash out yesterday. Oops. Okay, I'm almost at 26 minutes. I need to. Love you, bye.